And
Oh
I
yeah,
guess-
I'm the first to say that. I mean,
But there's a real need from the United States as a whole to get the natural gas. I mean, we have a desperate need for that in this country. And from the way it sounds from you, your organization is fully supportive of that if it's done right, and if there's some responsibility on the sides of the big companies. If you'd just like to make a final statement to that effect.
that's right. I mean, we're highly in favor of economic development that's environmentally sound, doesn't ruin our land, doesn't leave us with less than we had when it came, and it pays its own way, doesn't externalize the costs to the small landowner or the local communities.
Can you elaborate a little bit on externalize the cost? You mentioned that a couple times.
Well, there are costs of any development.
Mm-hmm.
One of the costs is that if it's cheaper for you to just dump the water on the ground, that goes towards your bottom line, towards your profit, if you don't have to pipe it away or re-inject it.
Mm-hmm.
But who pays the cost is the person whose land is harmed by that.
Mm-hmm.
So the cost is externalized from those who benefit from the activity, either the taxing authority, the state, or the methane developer. It's externalized to a third party, the landowner.
I see. And is water,
Okay.
okay, we'll go back to the question about, you were talking about external costs that you see associated with coal bed methane development that are passed back to, for example, a landowner. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's an economic principle. It's called externalization of costs, and costs that are really costs of production are passed on to a third party, and in this case, we're worried about the landowner. And right now, probably improper disposal of water and taking water away are the two biggest ones. But it's a good question because in the past 5 or 6 years, we've solved a lot of the other problems. I mean, this landowner or Surface Rights Act that Wyoming passed is very important. People before were screaming about people just coming on their land without telling them and creating dust and things like that. I mean, we still have problems, but people are starting to be more wary of too many above ground power lines and too much dust and beer cans and things like that on people's land. That doesn't happen as much as it used to. So I think we've done some good, and we haven't and have never wanted to stop things. We've wanted people to clean up their acts, and that's what we'll continue to fight for.
That's good. That's good. I think that we've got everything. That was a good job. You covered a lot of the bases and answered the tough questions, and I don't always like to do that, but it's good. They need to be addressed. And it's sometimes in my interviews with the Northern Plains, it was kind of frustrating because I didn't get a lot of answers, and I'm not just sure that the folks I interviewed were as highly placed as you and had the expertise that you do. But they didn't answer them to my satisfaction. And obviously we were doing interviews on this side too, so we thought we needed to have you on as well. And I think you very well answered them. So I just, I guess, curious why you don't work on the other side with oil and gas or government and versus the, if you will, an environmental group. But probably because it's more
Well, I
difficult to
mean,
get things done.
I have my profession, which is
Or a lobbyist or something, and I'm just curious why you don't do anything like that. Because I think there's so many interests out there that, and there's so much potential out there. You're talking billions and billions of dollars production that it's just frustrating.
oh yeah, well, I mean, I spent my working life in a place that's still the biggest oil producer in the country,
Mm-hmm.
and I managed the construction of that Trans-Alaska pipeline, and I worked for the governor during the Exxon Valdez oil spill. So I mean, I know my way around this stuff.
Well,
I'll
it's
tell you the
good.
truth, though. I mean, are you taping this?
No, he's not.
You want me to turn it off?
Yeah.
Okay.